I stumbled upon some wild Magic misprints. Let's talk about the misprint community. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today, I want to chat a little bit about the Magic the Gathering misprint community. I actually stumbled upon a set of misprints while opening up Commander decks from Murders at Karlov Manor. We have started basically over-ordering Commander decks with the idea of once they sell in our local store and online, gamegrove.gg, we have extra decks to then break open for singles, which actually do really, really well on the secondary market. The EV of Commander decks is guaranteed. You know, there's no risk in terms of opening packs and not hitting the hard card or the good cards, and it's guaranteed EV, and it's also way easier to sort. It's way easier to list. You can just pull up the deck list and create a CSV and upload it to TCG Player. It's a lot less legwork up front to get these cards up onto the marketplaces. So we cracked open about 100 Commander decks, more like 60 Commander decks this time around. And I was just sorting through the cards and I accidentally dropped a stack of cards. This is no joke. This is how I determined this. I accidentally dropped a stack of the cards, and when it flipped over, one of the cards on the back was completely dark. I was like, what the heck is that? So I started running through the backs of all the cards, and what happened is that one of the Commander decks, it was the 2-cost Commander one, I don't remember what it's called. The 2-cost, I'll put it on the screen. The 2-cost Commander deck actually had about 22 or 24, I think it was 22 misprinted cards where the back of the card was just completely blacked out or like slightly blacked out. And I'll put other photos of all the cards as we're going through here. This was my first real big misprint accumulation in my life. I've done, these Commander deck things a couple times. And I've seen, like, I've opened packs and gotten the card that has nothing on the front, but it's a magic card on the back. I've gotten one of those, like, filler cards before. But this was the first, like, big one. I thought it was pretty cool. And I had already known a little bit about the misprint community, but going through this process of figuring out what to do with these cards over the last 5 days, it's been cool to learn, and I want to share that with you. So, first off, what is the misprint community, and why does it exist? Well, there are people who, this is wild to me, listen, this is crazy, but there are people who actually play misprint-only Magic the Gathering, as if it's a format, as if it's a real format. They play, their deck can only have misprints in it, which is absolutely freaking wild. Like, you've gotta absolutely love Magic the Gathering, and you've gotta absolutely love misprints to push those things together and create a group of people to play with that is misprint only, as in your deck has to have a misprint. You can't use cards that don't have a misprint. And so there's like people who actually do that. It's wild. And then there's people who just collect the misprints, and you've seen collection videos on YouTube, I'm sure I have too, where they just have binders of misprints. And this is probably much more common than the crazy people who actually put these in decks and play misprint only. But people really like to collect this stuff. And I think one of the big reasons people like to collect it is because it's so scarce and hard to find. It's that kind of challenge and that chase to get the cards and to have, in the pandemic, I think it was 2020, one of the Commander decks, I think it was the Commander decks from Ikoria, I believe. Don't quote me if I'm wrong on that, everybody. But one of those Commander decks was double printed, where they put two Commander, I think it was either 2 or 3 prints on the front face of the card. So you had a card that was like both a forest and like a really great creature. And people loved those because they could put those in their decks, and they actually qualified as 2 different cards that they could play. They could either play it as a land, or they could play it in the misprint community. They could either play it as a land, or they could play it as a creature. And it created this crazy drama where these cards were selling for ridiculous amounts of money. I don't remember exactly, but hundreds of dollars per card. And this guy got an entire Commander deck, or an entire set of Commander decks that were all double printed Commander stuff. So there's a community, and it's vibrant and it's growing and it's wild. I don't think that there's any like quote unquote investor community. I actually was talking about this with a couple friends. You know, I posted all these cards up on the Facebook group this weekend and kind of joking about how much this 20-cent rare from the new murder set is now selling for $75, the highest bid on this card. I just kind of joking with some local friends about it. And one of the things I wondered is like, who's gonna pay, if somebody's paying $75, who's gonna pay $76 in the future? And that's like my attitude, because I come from more of like an investments brain of TCGs. But the reality is like, this person just wants it that bad. They just care about the card that bad, and they don't know if they'll ever be able to get another one of them, because it's this misprint thing. It's this wild misprint market where like a card can come up and you could potentially never see it again. It's like reserve list basically. You could potentially never see a misprint of that card again. So people go and they hunt it and they like it and they buy it. So it's kind of crazy. At the end of the day, this is going to be the comment in the comment section. Poor quality control has led to this community. I think there's some truth to that. Although every TCG has some sort of quality control issues throughout the process. You're printing things on paper. You're going to have that. I didn't see, I mean, we opened what, 60 decks. We got one deck that had this. Like, there's not a massive quality issue in this stuff or anything. But it's kind of one of those benefits that has come from a negative. And that's the way life works, right? Like, that's the way all things work. If you have some major negative happening, there are benefits that come from it. And it's cool to look at this from a community perspective and say, yeah, quality control is lacking. It sucks if you got this Commander deck and you didn't want misprinted, but the better part is, like, there's a really cool community that has formed out of this stuff, and that's great. So now I want to go into this kind of idea of what do you do if you open your Commander deck and you're bummed because the cards are, you know, the cards are ruined on the back, right? What do you do if you open up your Commander deck and it looks like this, or you have some sort of misprint? I'm gonna walk you through what I did and how it worked for me. Like I said, lots of bids. All the bids end on Monday night. So if you are interested in this stuff, go to the Facebook misprints group, major misprints group, and you can bid on them. But this is what I did, and this is just the process that I went through. I wasn't even part of the group because I've gotten a new Facebook account and that kind of stuff. But A, you join the Facebook group and you have to fill out the stuff. And then B, what I did is I just posted a photo of all 22 cards front, and then the same photo, same position, all 22 cards in the back. And it was cool to just post it up there and just say, is there any interest in this? What do I do with this? Are people interested in this misprint, or is this like widespread? Because anybody else who polls this is gonna go to the Facebook group and post it. So if there's 100 of these, they're all worthless, right? Because there's not that collectability or that rarity to it. And so you post it and you see if there's interest in it. So I posted it, there's a bunch of interest, people like, hey, tag me in this card, tag me in that card, tag me in these cards, whatever. And then somebody said, okay, put it up as an auction. And so then after you get some interest, I left it up there for like 12, 15 hours, something like that. There was good interest on the post. I then edited the post to say, hey, I'm gonna launch this as an auction tomorrow night, and I'm gonna do it individually. So then I took pictures that you've seen as I was doing this video. I took pictures of the front and the back of the card, and I used Photoshop to put them together. If you don't wanna use Photoshop, you could just get another Commander deck and post the picture of the front card that is, nothing's changed on it, and then back, and then take one picture. You could do it that way. But I just use Photoshop, put them together. And then post it in the comment section with the starting bid. I did $5 per card, and I did like a 4-day auction. It ends Monday night. I didn't want to end it on Super Bowl night because everyone's gonna be watching Taylor Swift. But I figured ending it on Monday at like 9 o'clock, something like that would work. So post it, and then people just started commenting. They're just outbidding each other, whatever. And this, $50 Commander deck mistake is turning into a couple $100 win, probably more than that, probably $500, $600, $700, $800 win for me as a collector, as a store, as a whatever, because of this misprint. And it's wild. And I know the comments are going to be like a little ridiculous. But I think it's really, really cool that there is this niche community within the Magic the Gathering community that just loves misprints enough that the difference of the back of the card warrants like a 50-cent card to be, 50, 60, 80, 100 bucks. Like, I think that's a really, really, really cool thing. I think that this is one of those things in the Magic world that just doesn't exist in other hobbies. the collectability and the fun in trying to find something that is unique is just such a cool scenario. And you and me probably don't really care about this. Like, I don't care to own this. It's not something that means something to me. But to somebody else, it is so freaking cool. It is their thing in the hobby. It is the thing that they love most about the hobby is collecting misprints. And I think that that's really cool. And I don't know about you, I would love to hear about it in the comment section. And if you like talking about all this TCG stuff, join the Discord server at KitchenTableTCG.com. It is completely free to hop in, hang out, talk about Magic the Gathering, talk about Pokemon, talk about sorcery, what other game you want to talk about. It's completely free to hop into the Discord server. I would love to chat with you. I hope you guys have yourself a fantastic day. Remember, the bad things in life can turn out to be cool and can turn out to be good. There's always a positive to every negative. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.